Hey, folks. Well, I'm sure that you can kind of see where we're at right now tonight. We got 20 signups. But first, I'm going to talk over some things that we've been talking about, we've been thinking about in the distant past and in the near past. Some things for how we see the guild, some ideas that we have for the guild moving forward. Um, Tonight is an excellent example of, in part, where we're at, as you can just simply look at your raid frames and see who's here tonight. Also, see how many are here tonight. We had 23 signups. Right now, just 20 are here. Um, but I'm going to run through some things, basically a meeting here to bring everybody up to speed about and some of the ideas we have for moving forward. Um, first, first I will address that per his request, Pero is no longer an officer. Um, I know that some of you have been in contact with him. Some of you have not. He logged on last night. He has some real life things that are consuming his time and his energy. I did not. I'm not really. Some people he may have talked to. I know he posted on the website at one point in time, but he's probably not going to be back anytime soon, if at all. So if any of you saw that demotion, that's where that came from. We do appreciate the time, though it was short, that he contributed. He may be back playing WoW, but when I spoke to him last night, he wasn't sure. So I just want to, you know, let people know that's where he's at, and that's why you haven't seen him around. So. I guess if you have really more questions about it, you could read his post. It is an older post, but you could read his post on the website. Other than that, you'd have to speak to Pero himself if you are able to contact him, because that's all I'm really going to speak to on that particular subject. I'm not going to say more than that. Um, Basically, this is what we've been discussing. We've really been hardcore discussing this the last few days, but it's also been on our minds for the past couple of months. It's grown heavier on our minds over the past few weeks. Because right now, recruitment is pretty much at an all-time low. Offline and online recruitment have produced little to no hits lately. Some of this is probably due to I'm tired of looking at this content. Some of it's probably due to it's a summer or whatever. You have lull times. But within our guild, we've had people called away due to real life things. They've had to stop playing the game. Some for short periods, some for long periods. Some people, like Awesome, join the Navy, and then he joins the Marines, then he joins the Merchant Marines, and then eventually he comes back. But I don't know. But and as you can see tonight, this is making it increasingly difficult to fill our roster on raid nights. Um, what does that mean to us? What does that mean for us? Well, we've been sorting through feedback. We do hear from you. We do want to hear from you. We hear from many guildies through whispers, through tells. You're welcome to talk to any officer at any time. If you don't want to talk to me personally, I can understand that. Awesome, Pallavi, Naz, they're all ready to listen to what you have to say. Some of you have been talking. And we do listen. You can talk to any officer anytime, well, as long as they're online. Um, but at least one or two officers do try to be online most of the time. So, and we've looked at different options. One thought that we had entertained off and on was a guild transfer to a more high population server. Um, this involves real life money. It also would involve some, some people. This is not something they'd want to do. Um, this is not something people want to spend money on, or they have other friends in this particular realm. They don't want to leave, so they would look to not move with the guild transfer. Understandable. Some were more for it, but we would undoubtedly have to go through rebuilding time, and a recruitment time again, even if it was on another realm. But one of the things coming up in patch 5.4 is the virtual realms. And because of that, we've kind of more backburnered the thought of trying to do a realm transfer, to kind of see how the virtual realms affects us, recruitment wise. So speaking to that end, I come to where we are today, where you can see in your raid frames today, and where you can see, over the past few weeks where we have been as a guild. And that's the difficulty of fielding the 25 man. We have looked, we've talked, and we've talked, and we've talked, and we've talked amongst ourselves. And what we're looking for at this time, what we're looking to do to carry forward at this time, is to look to break into 2 10-man raid groups. We propose this in a multitude of levels, and that some people that we've talked to say they just want to kind of take a break from WoW until 5.4. Some people want to push harder heroics. Some people want to do some heroics but still temper it with normals. There's a lot of different personalities here, and I can understand that. But what we're looking to do is to break into 2 10-mans to kind of ease the tension, ease the time until patch 5.4 comes, and look and see what Virtual Realms does for us as a guild. Look to see if it can bring us in some more raiders to fill a 25-man roster, and move forward competitively. I do think that dropping into 10s and pushing some heroic modes is very good for the guild, because it looks good to have heroic kills on your resume. It's more appealing to come to a place that has progression on it, that has people that know how to how to raid at that level. We did have to do this toward the end of Kata, as some interest kind of dwindled as people saw content and are like, I'm tired of looking at this content. So that's basically where we're at right now. I'm not saying that this is the perfect solution. I don't know that there is a perfect solution. Is this something for you that you are interested in? That's for you to decide. It's maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe it's something you want to look at. Maybe it's something you want to think about. But as where we are right now is, like, again, I'm going to point to your raid frames. Look and see what we have. We have been recruiting hard over the last few weeks, and we're getting nothing right now. But that doesn't mean that we can't move forward. A lot of times this happens, and you kind of have to weather these storms. Like I said, at the end of Kata, and other times we've broken down into 10s and then regrouped come a patch, or the new content move forward. A lot of times in WoW right now, people they just want to look at the new content and, okay, I saw it, I'm done. Other people have their own rating or PvP or whatever things they like to do. So we would like to, one thing would be, obviously, you'd have to decide what, how, now that you've been given this information, you can, evaluate, hey, is this for me? Is this not for me? I can understand that. you are welcome, like I said, to talk to any officer at any time. Some of the stuff we would probably sort through over, a little bit more exactly, setting up groups and things like that. Uh, um, Over the next couple days, try and finalize some of that and let people know exactly who goes where, goes what, if people are even interested in that. We are striving to provide an environment where we can continue to raid, and we are striving to try and create a place where people can feel comfortable. But sometimes you have to look at what you've been dealt, and this is kind of where we're at right now, and it's tough choices, and we've talked long and we've talked hard, and each of us have had different ideas and different different visions of things, and it's I look at where we are now, and I don't want to say, and I've been hardcore of holding hard to 25. We're going to do 25 no matter what. But right now, we're at a reality of maybe we need to take a step back and reevaluate and then come back to it. I think virtual realms will make a difference in 5.4. It made a difference at the beginning of CATA. We were able to recruit a lot more in. And I don't know, but basically, this is where we are, and this is what we've been talking about. Um, so I just wanted to take the time to let everybody know where we are, what we're thinking. Um, we don't want to just let go of things, but we do have to look at the reality of where we are right now. So, if you have any questions, I'm going to stop talking. If you have any questions, you can either whisper officer if you don't want to talk. If you do have any questions, feel free to voice them. Um, if you know if you just want time to think on it, I understand. And like I said, if this is not for you, I understand that. Um, I will say it's not from lack of effort of us trying to continue to um, to move forward as a guild and to provide a raid environment for everybody. Um, so I guess that's kind of all I really have to say right now. Um, like I said, if you have any questions, if any of the other officers have have anything to say, I'll stop talking for right now.
So if we have like 20 people, 25 people online, will we do 25s or are we just going to do 10s or what?
As of right now, I would look to um, in in this format, I would look to still break into tens. Yes, that means some people would sit some nights. Yes, we would look to rotate people in. I would say we would probably look to hold to the 210s until 5.4 launched. It doesn't mean that it would be set in stone. It might be something we would have to reevaluate, but that's how we see it at this time.
And we haven't,
Yes, we
settled
do.
on groups yet, so.
Yes, we do have tanks for 210 mans. That is part of the things we factored in. We do have tanks to do that. And yes, heroics in 25 and heroics in 10 are very different. Um, that is true.
Um, we do want to hear from everybody. Oath, I'm sure, is cringing right now because she's whisper phobic or something, but um, between me and Naz and Awesome at least, and maybe Oath, talk to somebody to let us know where you are over the next couple of days. If nothing else, we're going to start trying to get some groups together. So, you know, I don't really want to grind on the same heroic for 3 days, 3 hours a day, or, 10 man's go team, or whatever you feel like saying is fine. And most of you guys aren't very vocal, so maybe you're not used to talking to us crazy officer people, but we do want to hear from you. Find somebody that you're comfortable talking to. I think between the four of us, you can find somebody.
Awesome. Yeah, he loves talking to everybody.
Um,
He's only on for 15 minutes a week though, so
That's right. You got to catch me.
Well, I mean, I
Channel
am
mapped him
opening
up.
to
I
listening to
don't
people.
know
I
if
mean,
I can talk to
it's
anybody.
mostly in raid. I
Channel
like
mapped him
people
up.
to talk to
Time to
me.
shine.
I do listen to them. I know that there are times that I don't respond right away because I tend to AFK a lot. But I do want to hear from you. I'm not that scary. I do listen. But if you feel more comfortable with somebody else, I do understand. If you want to tell
Channel
somebody
mapped
else
him
that
up.
you hate my
She is that
guts,
scary.
I
Channel
understand.
mapped him up.
So,
Totally.
um, well, were we
Channel
going to
mapped
start
him up.
this
I
week
am
or
frightened by her.
next? Well, being as of right now where we are, we would probably at least try and put together. I don't know. I'm trying to see if we have enough healers. We do have enough healers. We could possibly start tonight. How are we splitting? Um, we've formulated some groups. We kind of want to see a little bit of feedback from people because some people are not into heroics and some people are into heroics. And, so we were kind of trying to see where people stood, I guess, and accommodate as much as possible in a sense. It's not 100% um set in stone, I would say. Um, but I don't want to alienate people.
Channel mapped him up.
But
I want
I
heroics
guess
when I can
I
be
feel
on for more than a little bit here and there.
it's
So next week.
um so we would look to try and accommodate those who are more casually heroic and those who are more hardcore heroic because it is in the 10 mans. And again, I really want to iterate, it is good for the guild to have heroic kills. Coming into the virtual realm and coming into access to more people, it looks good to have heroic kills because people want to come to that. So there is that there is that element that I feel as a guild it's helpful that we do push some progression.
Um, that's great. I know everybody wants progression, but is it going to be something fair? I mean, I personally, as a person that's been a raider for a long time, don't want to, we've got a really important raid coming up, and with the next patch, something a lot of people have been waiting for a long time that involves a lot of lore, and I don't want to be in a guild where I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines watching it. I want to raid. So if it's going to be two guilds, one with all the Uber people and one with all the secondhand, you know, whatever we can kill a boss every, 2 weeks, then I know I'm going to be moving along.
Well, to address that specific thing, I guess I wouldn't look at it as one Uber group or one not so Uber group. I mean, you first of all, come patch 5.4, um, we don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen there. As of right now, my desire would be for everybody to see the content, for everybody to be included. And I would like to do that in a 25-man raid environment. I would like to take this time to is a more lull time, as you can see, simply attendance issues that we've had in real life, things that have come, and then regroup and look to pursue 25, even if it's to regroup and have those people come back together. Part of the thing is you know what, if you perform and you're able to put out your heals, put out your damage, put out your taunting, hey, there's always a spot for you. We want those people. We want we want that. I understand everybody wants to see content. No, nobody likes to sit on the sidelines. That's why you're here. Well, I could say if we don't have 25 tonight, everybody sits on the sidelines and nobody's happy. I'm not looking to neglect anybody, and I'm hoping that with this format we can pursue some progression. We can pursue re-looking at 25s come 5.4, when, like I said, when virtual realms come. I think it will afford us a greater opportunity and a greater pool to choose from, to be able to assemble a 25. If speaking to heroics, both groups, we were planning on running some heroic modes in both groups. Probably one group more than others. It may end up being that way. Some of it will depend on how much heroics people want to do. There are people that have come to me and said they don't want to do heroics, and I understand that. And 5.4 can't, hear what Suka says, 5.4 can't come soon enough, feels like been 5.3 for a long time. Well, this is going to happen again in 5.4 before the next expansion or the filler or whatever happens. We're going to come to this point again, and we'll again have to probably revisit this then. That doesn't mean that this can't work. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to choose you. It means we have to look at things differently. And there'll be nights, yes, that some people don't raid, but there are nights in our 25s when we had overfilled roster that some people didn't raid. Did you get into the raid the next day? Yes, we made sure that you did. Doesn't mean we are going to abandon that, and it doesn't mean we are going to abandon you. I understand if you're not unsure about that. I do understand that if that feels like something that you don't, that you don't want to be in that place, I can understand that. But I honestly want each of you to look at where we are, and you're seeing what I'm seeing. We're trying to come up with some type of solution that allows us to continue to raid and continue to move forward without alienating people.
Let me say that I was one of the ones that came to Oath and said, I don't think I'm ready for heroics. And let me also say, I've been to a few guilds. This by far surpasses any I've been in. Oath, you got a good thing going. One thought, just from an old man, is maybe you want to start bringing up just a regular reading team, so they can start learning and get used to all the fights. And another thing that came to mind, I'm over in the public test realm messing around. Have you considered getting a group together over here to start learning those new raids?
That is something some people are on the PTR. Some people don't want to look at the PTR ahead of time. I'd have to say we are not a hardcore progression guild, so to have people raiding here on the existing realm and in PTR, they're welcome to it, but you know, I personally have spent, well, in this particular PTR, I haven't actually, I've downloaded it, but I haven't been online it. Most PTRs, I usually do spend time on the PTR to mess around and see what's going on. But being as we're not like super hardcore, you know, I'm I won't impose that upon us, I guess. It is a necessity.
Well, just speaking for myself, I'm here till you guys run me off and say I can't keep up, which may be pretty soon.
I don't think she's trying to run anybody off. I just, think she's just trying to figure out a way to spend the time until we get to 5.4. So I don't know how long that's going to be, a month, 2 weeks, 2 months. I don't know.
Well, I don't think she is trying to run anybody off. No, don't misinterpret me. I'm just glad that I'm a little bit of a chance. That's all.
Maybe the best thing to do would be try setting up a couple of 10-man runs on the same day and just see who signs up for what and kind of take it from there.
So what's going on exactly?
I recorded all of this so that the people that couldn't be here tonight or whatever can go back and listen to everything that Oath said, whatever.
Okay.
Well, I probably wouldn't have been so bitchy had I known you were recording me. I'm kidding.
I am always streaming.
Good
What?
grief.
Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Tyrannosaurus Rex!
You know what? It's fine. I mean, if that's how you feel and that's where you're coming from, I can handle that.
I'm just a little, I know it's not anybody's fault, and the server sucks when it comes to recruiting. It just makes me sad.
It does make me sad, and it's a difficult spot to be in. It is why we did consider a realm transfer. And like I said at the beginning, there would be people that wouldn't want to come, and I understand that. A realm transfer wouldn't fix everything. There is no one big fix to this situation. It is my hope that virtual realms would allow us to be a more competitive 25-man guild. And competitive by meaning, be able to field a roster that, we can down some heroics, and we can look to push progression in a 25-man environment. I'm not abandoning that idea. I think that some people have felt that this is a scrapping of what we've worked for, and I don't see it that way. It is like Egbert said. I am very much trying to come up with a way to continue to be able to raid, because yeah, and some people want to raid just to see the content, and they're content with that, and they're content to walk away. Well, what do I do with all my people that want to continue to raid but don't want to do heroics? Or what do I do with all my people that want to do heroics? I'm in a tough spot, and it's difficult. It's a difficult decision. I don't. And I've thought about that, a casual team and a progressive team. Somebody, because there are people that will wipe all night long on a heroic boss and walk away happy, and there are people who will wipe all night long on a heroic boss and go smash their computer to bits and say, I'm never buying another computer because I don't want to play WoW again. So, you know, it's a difficult spot to be in. So we might, we're still working on groups. We kind of need to see where people were at and let people know. The biggest thing I wanted to do is let people know that we are thinking about this and that we are looking to try and move forward. And I hope to not leave you behind, whoever you may be.
I know you're in a tough spot because I've been in that spot before, and a little bit different situation because it was already a 10-man guild, and then all of a sudden, all these people that weren't playing came back and wanted to be part of the raid team, and we had all these, we didn't have any interest of going to 25, so we made 2 10s, and the other 10-man group ended up, not getting as far as us and just got frustrated and left and made their own guild. So I don't foresee that happening here, but my question is, what if you have more people that want to do heroics than the casual, and then you have not enough for the casual group and too much for the heroic group?
That is true. It is true, but you know what? I honestly can't dwell on every specific little point. Our desire would be to formulate two 10s and try to accommodate more hardcore progression minded, because again, I'm going to go back to that helps the guild to have those heroic kills. And those who, I mean, it may be one week you want to do heroics and another week you, like Maps just said, you want to just, hey, just I want to kill some stuff and move on. I think that opportunity would be there. I think the opportunity is there for both types of people. And then of course there is also the opportunity if you say, screw it, I'm just gonna take a break till 5.4 comes. I'm logging off. I'll see you later. It's like, I'm a human being and I can only do so much.
So
No,
you're gonna have.
I know. I absolutely. I mean, I know what spot you're in. Not as the same ramifications, but similar. So I know where you're in. I mean, I've been here a while, so I've seen lots of turnover. I'm not going anywhere. Then I'm not hopping from guild to guild. I tried the guild transfer thing, and I went to a guild that was pretty good and was together a long time, and it ended up not working out, and I paid all that money to and I'm not saying I wouldn't, I'd transfer, because I like playing with everybody here, so, but, I transferred and then ended up transferring back, back here just because, like, once that guild broke up over there, I knew nobody, so I had nowhere to really go. At that time, it was a server with Premonition, and they were the top guild and we were below them, and there was no way I was getting into Premonition. So that's when Titter was over here and I came back over here, so I don't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, to address what Gao said in Raid of if there are more who want to do heroics than regular, some people might wind up unhappy with the group they're shoehorned into. I'm not looking to necessarily shoehorn anybody into anything. Yes, there may be more people that want to push heroics than normals, more than a 10-man group. We would look to try and rotate some of those people into a more progressive group. But I don't want to abandon both. I mean, we would try to somewhat balance the groups, but also somewhat look to try and help people who want one style of rating over another or so. It's hard choices. We've talked about this and we've come up with so many different ideas on my brain hurts. So feedback from all of you really helps us in determining this. And like I said, if if you're just like I don't like this environment, I'm sorry that it's come to that, but
I,
I'm doing what I can.
I will say there are quite a few people in this guild who, you know, they want to raid. They don't care if it's heroics or they don't care if it's normals. And so I think between those people who will do whatever needs to be done, uh, we're going to be able to make everybody at least as happy as we can. So, and I think there will be some rotation between the two groups. Dram says, I play WoW, LOL.
Aw, chicken nugget, you're so sweet.
I know, Love Muffin.
That's streaming.
So, what happens? I mean, how many tanks are there? And say one tank, like Dram falls asleep on his keyboard, and you need another tank. Where are you going to find that tank? If there's a second group that has the other tanks in it.
We would have to make some adjustments. I don't deny that. We do have tanks.
Channel
We have
Master
people who
I can
off-spec
always OS
tank.
spec as well.
And some of those who are
Channel
off-specking
Master
right now
I have
would
almost a
probably
full
be
tank
asked
set.
to tank. We do have oh, Pallavi, what's his name? Help me.
Ick.
Ick.
Channel
We do
Master
have sorry.
Yeah, definitely don't forget about me. I'm always here.
We do have him. We've looked to recruit him. His availability also as a tank. So yes, there might be a possibility of a night that a group would be minus a tank, minus a healer. Yes, that's a possibility.
But also,
maybe
right now I'm looking at the signups for 25s. We have 4 healers, and that is not enough for any heroic pulls.
On 25.
On 25s.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say this again. I go back to I don't say this is a perfect solution, and there may be a night that some people don't get to raid. I'm not gonna lie, but we're looking to try and get and be fair to everybody and have the people available. There are people that are off-specking that are willing to fill these slots and fill these spots to help make this happen. But yes, it is a possibility, but I anticipate it to be just for night mist.
Okay. Well, I guess all we could do is try and see how it works out, right?
I mean, I really feel it's kind of where we are right now. I mean, this is, I mean, you're here right now with me. You see what we have, you can see the calendar, and I mean, yeah, it's exactly what Pallavi's saying. You need a 35-man roster for a 25-man team. You need like 12 to 15 people for a 10-man team. So that always means some people kind of sit now and then. Do I want you to sit? No. Is it a reality that sometimes that happens? Yes. Have we always tried to be very fair in getting people that sat in the next day or the day after? Yes. And I think that anybody here can say that we've been fair in that regard.
I think that's one good thing, that even with all of the changes in leadership here, nothing's ever really fallen apart, and it's always been fair.
I was going to type this, but I'm just going to say it. When you do this, and all of a sudden 300 names start popping up from the annals of history because they can raid all of a sudden, that might be a little bit sour on a lot of people's tongues.
I don't think it'll be changed until 5.4 actually draws when we go back to 25 man, though. Would it?
Well, I'm saying what I'm trying to say is
You're talking
going
about
into
people that are in
tens.
the you're talking about people
Yeah,
that are in the guild and then all of a sudden come out of the woodwork. We thought that
yeah.
was going to happen at the beginning of this expansion, and it didn't really. I understand what you're talking about though, because that happened to the guild I was running. We were we were a core 10-man group, and then all of a sudden these people who hadn't played in a while showed up and they wanted raid spots, and it was like, okay, well you can form a second 10-man team. We're not going to break up our core that we've been running for a year and a half. I mean, it happens, but you can't expect it to happen either.
It's happened here.
I'm good with whatever. As long as I'm killing something, I'm happy.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the groups being imbalanced.
But the annals of WoW history kind of say that. There's always the 10-man group that zells ahead, and then the people they can yank a spot from. And I don't know how you can promise people that won't happen because they've probably seen it a million times.
Yeah.
It's also really fun when it's balanced because we did a double 10-man group once before when I was in Lineage, and we were racing each other, like talking shit about each other in Mumble or Vent all the time, back and forth. It was pretty fun when we were doing that.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you have
that's
that
when the group
situation,
is
it's fun.
balanced. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
That's
calling out anybody, just in general. It's going to be very hard to keep the two groups balanced. Mainly because we have essentially 2 tanks actually geared, then the rest of us would have to be doing it as off-spec. So there's a giant gear disparity right there in, one of your main roles.
I think the real problem is when one of the 10-mans is short and there's trading off happening, and then one group doesn't get to raid. That's where people start getting upset.
But that's kind of expected, though, because, I mean, people who are going to run the 10-man normals, or, who might just be doing it because they like to kill shit, who want to get a nice shot and get that roll or that night of loot, want to do that. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
what we would just run one main spec tank with each 10-man group and do it that way. So if you had like Dram in one group and Plov, just saying, but I'm not saying Oath will do it that way, but that's what we did.
She's not. I know she's gonna have the core group that ran. I mean, I see it already. It could be my imagination, or me just venting. But you guys tell me, it's gonna be that core group that always runs together. That's gonna be the progressive 10-man. It's not gonna be an even split. It was optional, but limited invites to a specific group of people.
I don't know. I got to run 10-man, and I suck.
Dram, what are you on?
I'm not on anything.
I'm getting creepy whispers from you, man.
You only got one creepy whisper to a comment that you kind of came with it, so.
What's blue?
Goes with the first comment since she had to. Let me go further. Use your imagination.
We were looking to try and form at least one 10-man tonight. I don't know if people want to digest what they've heard. So But we were looking at least to try and we were going to try and form two. But I guess some people may want to digest the information, or go pull their dartboard out and start throwing darts at me. But was optional every time. What are you guys talking about optional? Oh my god. Oh, the Monday raid. Yes, the Monday raid was optional. It was also for progression. I did bring it up in Mumble or Vent at that time. I did numerous times bring it up in Vent. I asked people if they were interested to in-game mail me, and I always said it was optional and it was to push progression. Ugh. Well, I guess for tonight, there are some people saying that, hey, I'd be willing to sit out tonight, or tired, one way or the other. Um, uh, I mean, so here I'm gonna. It's happened before. We've watched all the healers go on strike or vacation or something. Well, they went on
That was a
vacation.
good night, man. That
They
was an
went on.
awesome night.
They did go on strike. They've gone on vacation. So yeah.
Well, the best night was when we wouldn't heal anybody. That was awesome.
I suppose it was awesome for you. For some, it wasn't quite so awesome.
Well, yeah.
I think it's a matter of perspective.
Funny.
What? Ben? No, just what you said.